Hi everyone, and welcome to another development vlog for Beyond the Darkness. I am Michael. I did some videos in the past about pathfinding and our randomized item system. I am doing this vlog because I want to talk about some more technical things we have been working on, especially regarding things we already had in the game before and how it progressed. So we started this YouTube channel to share the developments and our progress of this game, and I think it's really amazing to look back at the differences between what we actually had in the first place compared to what we have right now. When you want to develop your own game without any knowledge of game development like us, uh, you will definitely run into obstacles very early on. And I believe most people would give up at this very moment because they struggle too much, which is normal, of course, but it can be very frustrating. And I think the key for us was to simply take baby steps. We work on pretty much one thing at a time, and we are both very patient people. So yeah, we are both completely new to game development. Cyril has a background for visuals and creating 3D models and such, but in the world of video games, I think there's a lot more to it. As for me, I am a web designer and web developer, so I do quite a bit of coding here and there, mainly using a bunch of programming languages you won't use for games. Although you can use both JavaScript and C Sharp to develop a website or a game, but those two worlds are really, really different. For our game, we mainly use JavaScript, and we've got a few C Sharp scripts as well. So yeah, we are both new to this, but we are really trying hard to make this work. I think a lot of people would start out with writing some kind of project plan and gather all sorts of information for weeks and take it from there. But we didn't do that. We pretty much chose a game engine to work with, and we started from there. We looked up tutorials and we also tried to figure things out by ourselves. Of course, we did document a lot of things down the road, but we basically started by testing out basic gameplay elements to make sure we were actually able to pull it off. And I think the beginning is always difficult because you can easily get overwhelmed. We are looking for great results. We don't want to deliver something that looks rushed. Um, this is most likely the main reason why the development of this game is so slow at the moment. We want a solid foundation to work with. Once that has been done, and we are really close, I think the development will go a lot faster. For example, take a look at how this hallway has changed so much over the years. After each change, we were both like, wow, look at what we made, this is amazing. In our last vlog, Cyril showed you how we struggled with getting the Shadow People effect to work, and this vlog is similar, but I think it's a bit more technical. Anyway, let's just begin. First thing I want to talk about are the menus. In our game, we always had a very basic main menu, and later we also developed a pass menu. The reason why this looked very basic, and it still does, is because we still have to do a lot of work to it, and it's going to change a lot. We will keep adding more to it, and we just want the basics to work before we're actually going to spend our time making it look good. As some of you know, we're working with the Unity engine, and as Cyril mentioned in an earlier vlog, we recently updated to Unity 5, which is also still in beta. We started developing these menus probably a year, maybe 2 years ago, and this wasn't easy. I mean, you have to keep in mind, we didn't know anything about game development before we started this project. So, when you would like to create your own menu, the first thing you will try is something simple, such as getting a button to show in the center of your screen. And this all had to be done by code, and it would look like something like this. In a nutshell, this basically says you want a button, which is a rectangle, It also says where the button has to be located horizontally and vertically. And because you want the button in the center of the screen, you had to get the width and the height of the screen and divide it by 2, and also set the width and the height of your button. Uh, and sometimes it still wouldn't really properly show in the middle. Later on, when you wanted to add a second button, you could simply copy and paste the code and change the position so the buttons don't overlay and show underneath each other. You then were also able to apply a style to it, which you could edit in Unity yourself. For someone new to Unity, this can really overwhelm you. Fortunately, since Unity, I think it's Unity version 4.6, the whole UI system has changed. Yeah, so we're now working with Unity version 5, so it was time to get rid of the old menu as well. And with this new system, I don't have to code as much. So to make our menu now, we simply right-click in the editor and create a canvas. And we right-click on our canvas and we can add our button. So when I test this, it shows where I wanted it in the first place, and uh, I don't have to break my neck trying to get it to properly show. And I can do the same for a second button and simply drag it down to make them show underneath each other. So when Cyril wants to style everything in the future, he can do so without diving into the code. Next up is the Save Game Manager. Even though we are still working on the foundation of the game and the first level, we want you to be able to save your progress. About a year ago, I looked into it and found a completely free Save Game Manager system. It was quite complicated for me and a bit difficult to test, but it did seem to work well. Sadly, after a few Unity updates, this whole system got outdated and the creator of the system completely abandoned the project. This gave us a lot of errors and this prevented us from creating builds for a long time. Basically, when you create a build, you can play the game without using the editor. So recently I removed that whole package and I'm looking into new solutions. Next thing I wanted to talk about is brightness. Especially in horror games, you will encounter a lot of dark areas. While this is great for setting up a spooky atmosphere, it can also be too bright or too dark depending on your settings. In Beyond the Darkness, we have been looking for solutions to bring a brightness slider into the game. We searched for options, but there weren't many possibilities. Someone came up with an idea which, yeah, was quite interesting. This idea involved adding a total black texture over your camera. And with a slider you were able to change the opacity of this image, which it's just not a great solution for a game. Luckily Unity 5 came with a changeable setting, so we were finally able to implement this. Now I would like to talk about opening doors. I first started working on this back in September. Oh yeah, not this year. I'm talking about September back in 2012. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Right. From the start, we wanted you to be able to drag a door open instead of simply clicking on a door to open or close it. We found a free dragging script on the internet which lets you drag objects. And in combination with hinges in Unity, we made our first working door. Oh dear, yeah, that horrible sound. Okay, well let's just continue. Uh, you never saw this. Anyway, we did end up getting a few problems with this setup, mainly because the Unity engine wasn't really able to handle it in some way, which means that the door would sometimes glitch through walls. And with Unity 5, it's a lot more stable, but we do still use a few extra invisible colliders to prevent it from glitching. You know, just in case something happens. A long time ago, with a few people I know in real life, I did a little experiment. I let them try out a very outdated build and wanted to see how exactly they opened these doors. This might sound ridiculous, but it's quite entertaining to watch people dance with a door instead of simply opening it. Well, when you are standing inside a room, it's simple to open the door. You aim onto the door, hold down your left mouse button, and drag the door open. It's simple. The problem, however, was when you stood in the hallway and had to push the door open because we used a dragging script. I mean, in real life, try opening doors that open away from your body by dragging. It's interesting. Therefore, I had to change the code a bit. So whenever you click on a door, you give it a slight boost. Now you can easily open a door by clicking on it, or just click once and start dragging. At this moment, the boost is a little too powerful, but I'm definitely going to tweak this so you can carefully open the doors without alerting all the enemies in the level. Another thing I want to cover are the drawers. In the past, just like with the doors, we used the same script to open the drawers. Uh, we tried for a long time, but it kept giving us a lot of problems. This was especially because the engine didn't seem to be able to handle it very well. Originally, the idea was that you were able to click and hold your left mouse button on a drawer while dragging the mouse towards you to open the drawer, just like the doors. Unfortunately, we struggled getting a decent result. We had drawers dropping, drawers getting stuck, drawers flowing to God knows where. I mean, it's probably still floating somewhere. Or drawers that were so stuck it didn't budge at all. We eventually decided to scrap this script completely and keep it simple by working with animations. Just a click to open or close a drawer. So we even added multiple animations, so each drawer opens slightly different. I think this setup works a lot better. It's a lot smoother. There are no more problems with colliders and when you place stuff in it. So I think it's a great solution and works well. So the next thing I want to talk about, and this is probably the last thing, is about random wall lights. The main idea we had is to have random lights turned on in the rooms and hallways. So each time you play the level, you get a different sphere. One time you might have gotten a completely dark room, while the next time you play, there are a few lights on. But in the end, we did decide to scrap this idea and to just set the lights manually. This way we have total control of the whole sphere. Speaking of lights, Cyril has been working very hard and made great progress when it comes to lights. Um, More about this in our next vlog because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to show anything either. You just have to wait for the next vlog. But I really love the progress that he has made, and I'm sure you guys will love it. You'll see it in the next vlog. Of course, we had so many other problems, but I just wanted to cover the big ones. And I hope you enjoyed this video and understand why we're taking our time. We really want the basics of the game to work well, and soon enough the development will go a lot faster. Well, if you want us to show you something specific, or if you got any questions, let us know in the comments down below, or leave a message on our Facebook or Twitter pages. All these fantastic comments you guys place, I mean, all the comments we receive, they really keep us going and keep us motivated. It really means a lot to us, and we really appreciate this. So, well, this is it, and all I can say is enjoy your day. See ya.